but I'm just going to be on this before I go live. Well, live view because I'm here. So I'm ready. Whatever we need to do. It's 8 o'clock and I know people are waiting on us.
Hey guys, welcome to Unmasking the Blueprint on a Sunday. Yes, guys, I know this is not our normal day, but guess what? Life is not normal right now, and so we had to come on a Sunday because we mean business, okay? So
Right.
I've got some powerhouses in the building, and we're gonna talk about what everybody been trying to figure out, like what is going on in the world, right? And so I'm going to start with Pastor Angela. What is your name? Pastor Angela, what you have going on and what are you doing? What's your name?
I am Pastor Angela Clark-Burgin. I am the founder and senior pastor of Accepting God's Favor Ministry and Bridging the Gap Outreach Ministry.
And as far as the TDW, what do you do with TDW?
I'm the outreach chair of
Okay.
TDW.
And for those that don't know, that's Texas Democrat Women, okay? And so my name is Rachel Pins. Y'all know I am Unmasking the Blueprint. I am the podcast. I'm the what am I going to say? The producer of the podcast.
You are the producer of the podcast.
Okay, I'm everything of the podcast. And so
Dr. Coretta.
Dr. Coretta, what do you do? What's going on? How do you fit in this puzzle?
So good evening, everybody.
Good
I'm
evening.
Coretta, Mallet, Fontenot, and I am the chair of the Political Action Committee of the Houston NAACP Houston branch. I'm also a new member of Texas Democratic Women. So I am happy and excited to be here. I've been doing a lot of work in the voting space and voter registration and gerrymandering space. So this is a perfect place for me to be tonight. Thank you all for having me.
Welcome.
Glad you're here. Heidi, how do you fit in this puzzle? Uh-oh. We lost Heidi.
We lost.
Tracie Steans, tell us about why are we meeting today and how do you play a part in this role?
And so I am Tracie Steans. I work with everyone that's on this panel in a lot of ways. We all have the same interest of getting the voter out to vote. I'm Tracie.
Yeah.
I'm Texas Democratic Women, Galveston County. I serve as the events chair. And then I'm also part of the NAACP political and action team along with Coretta, with Dr. Coretta. And so right now we're in trouble. And because we're in trouble, it is critical that we be able to deliver the information of what's happening to us around everywhere in a way that somebody that's in middle school could be able to understand.
Mm-hmm.
So today, we're not going to use all the fancy terminology.
Right.
Today is going to be the day that we deliver and then also help people to know what they can do to help fight this. So I play an important role because I'm very passionate about this. And the people that's on this panel are some powerhouse people that I know that'll be able to make a huge impact from Galveston County to Harris County along with me. And so that's why I'm here.
Thank you, Tracie.
I forgot that I am also a member of the Harris County NAACP. See, I got so many irons in the fire. I forget some of my hats that I wear. But I am a member of the Harris County NAACP. And we're ready to make some good trouble.
Yes, I love it. So Heidi, how do you fit in this puzzle?
Hi, I'm Heidi, and I am a precinct chair for the Galveston County Democratic Party in League City. I'm also a member of Texas Democratic Women, and I do a lot of candidate support. When candidates run in the county, I try to help them.
Okay. So I've been hearing so much about this gerrymandering. Like, what is that? What is that about?
It's drawing voting districts and boundaries in a way that gives one political party, an advantage over the other. So both parties have done it in the past. The difference is this time it's only supposed to be done 10 years. Every 10 years, when a census happens, they redraw the lines according to hopefully the new census. But in our case, it's usually drawing the lines to make the districts more red. So there's a couple ways of doing that. One is called packing, and packing is when you take a community, it's usually a community of color that they can predict is going to vote Democrat. Predominantly, they will pack them into one district all together, tight, and then they will leave the periphery all red. There is another way called cracking, which is what happened to us here in Galveston County, and which lit the fuse at the state level. So what happened here was precinct 386, remember West Texas City?
Yep.
And Lamarck precincts, and there was 386 and 388. They were cracked. They went to precinct Commissioner's Court precinct 4. So, and then the Lamarck precincts, they made a coalition district. Those got pulled over into District 2. So you have the Lamarck voters cracked away from the West Texas City, and they all vote alike. But the Lamarck voters got redistricted in with Santa Fe, which is predominantly white Anglo voting. So they diluted the vote there of the Lamarck people, and then the West Texas City people got diluted by San Leon and Tiki Island and just things like that. So they cracked us up. So the NAACP sued, and we had a case here called Petaway versus Galveston County. And the district court judge, was a Republican Trump appointee, Judge Jeff Brown. And what happened was when our commissioner's court broke up our precincts and pretty much made it unwinnable for the old commissioner, the Democratic commissioner, Stephen Holmes. They made it impossible for him to win because they put his house, they split apart his district and kept his house in precinct 3. So everything else in precinct 3 was League City. They pulled the top and brought in League City, which was predominantly white Republican. So Stephen Holmes lost his position. They sued the Department of Justice, the NAACP, and LULAC sued, and saying it was racial gerrymandering, splitting up these light communities. Well, the county said you cannot call it a majority minority district. It doesn't qualify. Precinct 3, Commissioner's Court 3, did not qualify because it was made up of blacks and Hispanics, and they said you could only have one race to make. It was a really narrow reading of the Voting Rights Act amendment, and it made no sense really, because the community votes together. So it doesn't really matter who. Do you see what I mean? They said, no, it has to be pure, it has to be black or Hispanic or Asian or this. So the appeals court ruled with the lower court and said, no, Galveston, put your maps back. This is racial gerrymandering. And then there were 3 judges that heard it on the 5th Circuit, which is a very conservative circuit. And they heard the case, and they ruled with the lower court. But then they said you could come back and you could bring it back to us and we could hear it en banc. En banc means all the judges on that circuit hear it together. So when they brought the case back to all the judges, they ruled with the county, saying that we could only have one race in a majority minority district. So this is what happened. Now Texas is taking this on. We were the test bed, so now they're doing it statewide.
Gotcha. So Tracie, explain to us how this would affect our votes going forward.
So this one right here will allow, and I'm going to speak in these terms because I want to be very transparent. This will allow one party to pretty much win. The way that they draw the lines of the redistricting is in a way that it shifts, where it guarantees, especially with the data and the voting history, that it guarantees one party to be able to win. And then also with that, it'll cause, because of the fact that it's spreading, it will allow us to lose certain seats that is very important to us in our democracy.
Okay. Dr. Coretta, would you like to add on to that?
Sure. So, just to piggyback on what Tracie said, when you look at Congressional District 18, which currently, there's a race to fulfill the seat that Sylvester Turner, Erica Lee has vacated, right?
Right.
Now you see CD 18, CD 9, and Congressional District 29 being pitted against each other in various ways. So my district, Congressional District 9, which is currently represented by Congressman Al Green, that district will shift going to the east, going more towards Pasadena, Clear Lake, and going in that direction, which will make it trend more heavily Republican, but also Hispanic, because that it butts into Sylvia Garcia's district, right?
Yeah.
And so what they're also doing is splitting or pitting minorities against each other, with Congressman Al Green and Senator Sylvia Garcia, right? So currently, as it stands, everyone who's in whatever position that they hold, whatever district they represent, will represent that until the next election. So we still have our current representation, but the challenge is, what race or should any of those persons pursue those seats? Do they stand the same chance of being able to win, reasonably, or even have a fighting chance to win? When Heidi spoke about having a ruling saying that, a district needed to be a pure district, right? Purely African American, purely Hispanic, or purely white. In this case, when you shift that way, I don't think you have a pure district. You will have a majority of whatever, but you still have a lot of, you still have blacks in those districts. So they'll say, therefore they'll probably, try to strike it down again, Heidi, using that same justification. So that is the uphill battle that we face. And that's why, voter registration and voter participation is so important as we move forward.
That's okay. I understand that. Pastor Angela.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you like to add on to that?
Well, they pretty much covered what I was going to say, especially to answer the question, how will it affect, is because basically it alters the election outcome by manipulating votes. That's what they're doing. It's manipulation, and it's a scare tactic. So in the rest of it is just what they say. We have got to get in and vote, which that question comes on later. How important is it for us to vote? And we'll discuss that later.
Okay. So Heidi, how will we fight?
Well, there are several things we can do. Right now, there are legal challenges to what the state of Texas is doing now. And while that's going on, we should just remain in everything's normal, everything's fine until the fat lady sings, So we act as if if they're still separate districts, everything's still the same. But we do have to realize, like what happened in Galveston County, when they took away we had 4 commissioner court seats. One was a majority minority district, only one, and they took that one away. So what they're doing at the state level, like Dr. Fontenot said, was they're packing together Democrats against Democrats, and combining seats. So we have less representation, and minorities have less of a chance to elect someone that represents them. When you have politicians carving up a state, they're gonna decide who they're gonna vote for them. You know, they carve it up depending on what they want, but it doesn't. It's not fair to the rest of us, basically. That's why a lot of Democratic states have independent redistricting commissions. So that's something that may happen to us later. I doubt it because we're Texas, unless something changes at the state level. But yeah, it's not looking good. But Mark Elias, I don't know if you've heard of that attorney. He's on MSNBC a lot. He takes on these cases and he wins them. So we'll see if he can get past this majority minority has to be one race. So we'll see if he can work around that, because that is a very narrow interpretation of the second part of the Voting Rights Act.
Great. Good. I love to hear it. Tracie.
Yes.
So how can we fight?
Oh, we have a lot of ways to fight. So one thing that I like to make sure that is to be clear with things, that it's not over. Yes, we know that, that it's past, but what we can do about it is we can catch it on the back end. We have time right now and we don't need to wait. So getting everybody registered to vote, and not just to vote, getting everybody to the polls.
Right.
We have to be very strategic at this time. We have to be loud at this time. We have to take this on all levels. We have to partner with other organizations. We have to partner with people that don't look like us. And then we have to understand that, yes, this thing here with Democrat and Republican, but at the same time, we have some independents and we do have some people that are Republicans, but they will vote in another way. The approach, it's all about strategy, it's about approach, and it's about everybody doing their part. And when we do our part, that means that we have to go in and sit in other meeting rooms. That means that we have to be very transparent with people. We have to explain, just like we're talking today, and explaining very clear and slow and clear, and not over their heads where they say, no, I don't got time for that. Well, they explain how it will impact them, what we need to do next, and how they can help. And so when we do all of these things, then we can win this. So we don't give up. The fight is still on. If you're overwhelmed, because it can be overwhelming, you get your rest and you get back on it. I mean, you start thinking about the people that fought for us in the civil rights, and some people say, hey, my are they already doing this? Hey, I'm sitting back. They didn't get me in this. So, hey, we're in a different ball game right now. Okay. Yeah. And they're not playing fair. And so now the fact that everybody knows that, hey, you don't have to know a whole lot of everything. You just need to do your part. And if you do your part, that is all that we can ask of you. So there's a lot to be done. We'll talk about ways on how to do this, but we're not giving up right now. And there are ways that we can still win this. There are things that and you have to understand too, that we're rewriting history right now. And right now, they're going to go back and look at right now. And when you start looking at the generation that's underneath you, your grandkids, and just looking at they're counting on us right now. So this is a time right now that we all have to be active, and everybody has to do their part. Not I just did my one thing, but if you can do one of the most important things is to make sure that you get out and vote, get people out there with you, and that you're advocating and doing your part as well.
Can I just piggyback off of that with the messaging? When people ask you, or when people say the Democrats do it, the Republicans do it, it's all the same. You can say the difference is here. This time, they are doing it in the middle of a census cycle in order to win an election with the specific purpose to cheat right before a midterm. We've never done that. So don't put us in that category. This is blatant cheating. And what California is doing to retaliate is actually trying to level the playing field. They're putting it before their voters, before they implement it, unlike Texas. And so they're letting the people decide. And after it's done, and after they've neutralized the additional 5 Republican seats, they're going to go back to their old maps. So this is just for this election, and that's another difference.
I'd also like to point out, and Tracie kind of touched on this, is that making sure that voter apathy doesn't set in. We have to remind voters, of the very real impacts that this has on their household, on their community. When you look at education, tax dollars from the federal government being withheld or toyed around with, we all know someone who has a student or a child in public education. We know someone who maybe has a friend or a family member who has a child who may be on the autism spectrum. Those are federal dollars. And those are things that the current a person who holds the presidential seat of power is toying around with. We have to make it, like Tracie said, plain and simple. Let people understand this person promised that he was going to lower the price of eggs. I have not seen eggs go back to being 99 cents for a dozen since this person has been in office. And that's a very simple example, but it's a very real impact, right? When we talk about a lot of school kids just went back to school, let's talk about the price of shoes, the price of uniforms, the price of a pair of jeans. These are all very real things that families are struggling with, particularly if they have multiple children, right? So when we see people or we encounter, friends or people in the community, family members who may feel like, as Heidi said, oh, Democrats do it too. But this is the thing. You don't feel the impact to where they are denying resources to entire communities and entire segments of the population. That is one extreme difference. Let's be clear, Heidi. When we talk about this person making the request for these 5 seats, it was so that he could run for a third term. We've got to help the public to understand this person does not have any intention on leaving this presidential position.
Exactly.
He's trying to position himself very much like Putin has in Russia. He's president for life. No matter, what other elections happen, he'll still rule over that country. And we see what is happening there, right? We want a different future. And we have to have that vision, have that inspiration to keep people motivated to get out and vote. And if everybody does something, then all the work can get done. And like Tracie said, by all means, make sure you take the time to, practice your self-care needs and take care of yourself and your family. From time to time, we all need to step away. We all need to take a break. But then, rest up and don't be weary in well-doing.
That's it.
Pastor Angela, how do we fight?
We fight, number one, the hopelessness is real. And there are so many people who have given up. They have given up physically, emotionally, spiritually, because they feel like it doesn't matter. They feel like, it's all rigged anyway. And this is it's all rigged anyway. So it don't matter whether I vote or not. It don't matter what I say. They're going to do what they want to do. That mentality is exactly what the Jim Crow thing existed, because you're sitting there thinking it don't matter. Some people is that it don't matter because it does not directly involve them. So it don't matter to me until it's about me.
Right.
Some people have just been dumbing down and manipulated to the point to where they have been made to think you don't have a voice. Your vote is your voice. And I've been hearing we got to get people registered to vote. We got to get people to the polls, but we got to let people know the importance of why they vote. And some people just go vote because, well, I got a right to vote. Do you know why you're voting? Do you really realize what's at stake? Do you really realize what's going on? Do you realize what's going to happen if these seats are taken? Do you realize what's going to happen if this gerrymandering goes through like they wanted to go through? And it's about all of us. But It's about us. And if we don't go in and we don't fight, one, the hopelessness, and I'm speaking, and I heard Dr. Coretta make a very interesting point. Don't weary in well doing. We can't weary in well doing. We got to be political, but you got to stay focused spiritual. We're in a spiritual warfare.
Come on.
That basically, we can sit there and we can talk about Trump, we can talk about whoever else. But the thing of it is that we got to realize that you can either sit back with your head tucked between your tails and pretend that what's going on ain't going on, or you can stand up and fight. And we had Christians who say, well, I don't feel like we need to vote. Well, God is in control and I got faith. Well, that same Bible tells you faith without works is dead.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you got faith, but now what works are you going to put with your faith to get what you want done? We got to step and fight. We can't just sit at home around our coffee tables talking about who doing what and what needs to happen. And then when those ones of us who are out there trying to make it happen give you the opportunity to put some action with your talk, well, I don't want to be bothered. No, we got to fight. You got to fight spiritually and you got to fight physically. Because if you just sitting back talking about what you need to do and then you don't do it, and I'm just of the mindset, you either part of the problem or you're part of the solution. If you're not going to do nothing about it, then just hush. But the most people who do all the talking are the ones who won't vote. The people who do all the complaining are the ones who didn't vote. And they sit back and watch things happen. And they'll tell us, oh, I'm so glad to see y'all out there fighting. Okay, now you need to get up and fight. And then on the flip side, you got some that think that we don't need to do anything. We need to just sit back and do nothing. If you sit back and do nothing, then what's going to happen is we're going to have a repeat of what Dr. King and Ralph Abernathy and John Lewis, what they fought for. We're going to have a repeat. That's exactly what we're headed for, because Donald Trump does not want a democracy. He wants a kingdom, and he wants to be the king of the kingdom. And he wants to be able to rule and say what you do, when you do, how you do, and you don't do it unless he tells you. That's what it boils down to. We can sit back and be blind if we want to. He wants to rule the world. He wants to rule the United States. And if we keep sitting back, and I noticed the last time everybody was talking about voting, when it came time to vote, where were they? Everybody talks about we need to get together and register. Well, all of us, I do believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, are registered. We can register people to vote.
Yeah.
Okay, if all of us can register people to vote, people say that they don't know if they can vote. There's ways to find out if you can vote. And then if you can vote, go do it. Go register. We need to go and do some house-to-house stuff. We need to get on the phone, make some phone calls. And I know there are some people like me who are physically, they're challenged. They can't do it. But if you can get on that phone and talk for 2 or 3 hours about what happened on the talk show and what happened on it, you can get on that phone and you can talk to some people about the importance of voting. Yes. If we can get out and you can go to the grocery, I can't get out because I'm crippled. Well, I keep saying your crippled self at Walmart, at the hair salon, and everywhere else. If you can go out there and do all of this stuff, you can go out there and get people to vote. So everybody has a place. There's something for everybody. If you're good with computers, everybody has a place. We just got to let people know how important it is. And like Tracie, we got to stop talking on people's heads. Thank God we have education, but that ain't gonna get it, because when you're talking on people's head, no, we just got to get raw. If you don't get in there and you don't vote, you're gonna go back to Jim Crow. Yeah. If you don't get in there and you don't vote, then all these doctors that you bragging about you going to, you ain't gonna go, because you're not gonna have no Medicaid, you're not gonna have no Medicare, you're not gonna have no food stamps, you're not gonna have no Section 8. Yeah. So we got to meet people where they are and let them know this ain't about this person or that person. This is about us all together. And we say that we're Christians. Well, if we're Christians, what affects Coretta affects Tracie. What affects Tracie affects Heidi. What affects Heidi affects Rachel. If you don't have a child who's sick or a family member is sick, if your sisters or your brothers do, then you should be as concerned about what's going on with them as you want people to be as concerned about what's going on with you. So we got to get together. We got to come together. We got to stop this me-itis and I-moses. No, this is a us thing. And we gonna either get in this together and win, or we gonna fail together.
Okay, so the question is there hope? The
Yes.
answer is yes, there is hope.
Yes.
So the next question was, how can we get people registered? So Pastor Angela already started it off, so I'm going to go to Heidi next. I know Pastor Angela already talked about that you can do it from your home. Everybody on the panel is already registered to get people to vote. But what are some other ways we can be proactive, Heidi, in getting people to vote?
Okay, so it's really good, even starting now in our communities, to talk about what's going on, talk with our community members, and actually get together and do things, because you're registering people in your community, you're giving them voter education. Why don't you just have like a picnic one day and just have people come? Or Derek Rose did something like that before, hot dogs and whatever. But like, you can have turnout drives and you can keep a relationship with these people. Also, becoming a precinct chair, if anybody would like to do that, would be really helpful, because then you could know all the Democrats in your precinct and reach out to them.
Excuse me, Heidi. Could you tell us what a precinct chair is?
Yes. So voting precincts are the smallest districts in Texas. So your voting precinct, and then you have a commissioner court precinct, and on and on. So your voting precinct is where you live. So I live in precinct 355, voting precinct. So it's my neighborhood and a couple neighborhoods around me. So what I do as a precinct chair is I organize my precinct. I reach out to the Democrats in my precinct, and we have events. Sometimes if there's like an orphan precinct near me, I will invite them as well. That's when I first started, and it did work. I haven't tried it since COVID, so that might be something to do as far as getting people engaged, so that they're going to turn out. That they're going to be excited, and just keeping with like-minded people. There's safety in numbers.
Excuse me, Heidi.
Mhm.
You mentioned orphan precincts. Because I'm a precinct chair, I know what that is.
Yeah.
But some of our viewers may not know what an orphan precinct is. Can you briefly explain that so that the viewers can be, on top of that?
And
Sure.
just so you know, we're dumb to find everything, Heidi, because honestly, like Tracie said, there's a lot of people we just don't know.
Yeah.
Like Pastor Angela said earlier, we just don't know. We don't even go vote half the time. I'm just being honest. So some of us, we just don't do it. So if you could, we'd definitely appreciate it. Thanks.
So the precincts with precinct chairs, they can go and they can notify their voters of elections. They can keep them engaged. But some precincts do not have chairs, especially League City and Dickinson. So we need more precinct chairs. So what the precinct chairs do, if they have like a precinct without a chair next to their precinct, they'll involve them as well. So they'll take what we call an orphan precinct, is a precinct without a chair. Also, you can become a precinct captain, which is assisting a precinct chair. So being their right hand person is a really good way to help as well. But yes, high turnout can still overcome voter manipulation and map manipulation. If we get high turnout, we can still overcome that.
So Cheryl in the comments said, we're living in crucial times. We must be proactive because the orange man is trying to take away mail-in ballots. Would anybody like to comment on that?
Yeah, I'm gonna cover. We're gonna cover that a little later on down the line.
Okay.
But
we're gonna come back to that. Okay.
Was
you done, Heidi?
Oh, well, just there's also other organizations that you can volunteer with, like Texas Democratic Women, or if you're on the island, Galveston Island Dems. Texas Civil Rights Project and Common Cause are working on the gerrymandering things. So they might have, you might want to go to their websites and see if they have anything that you can do remotely for that.
That was my question. Because we've been talking about the different groups, the different organizations, and we can all gather once a month, and we can have our meetings and our slideshows and eat our meals. But what you gonna do once the meal is over? What you gonna do once the we get off the phone? 'Cause see, the thing of it, it goes back to faith without works is dead. Us getting together and getting with people, I think Tracy said that we need to get with people who don't look like us, because we're all really in the same thing. But once we get together, some action has got to take place. We can't just keep going.
Well, that's what we're talking about. So what is the action?
Yeah, we got to have some action. And yeah, I heard what she's saying about the hot dogs and all that. And that's good because I thought about that too. But we got to let people know what's going on. A lot of times people are gathered and they'll do things, they don't even know why they're doing it. We need to have people there who letting people why it's important for you to vote, why it's important for your voice to be heard.
Right, I
This is
understand that, but
important for you to
the
stand
question
up.
that we're asking right now is, so we're on how. So how are we going to get people registered? How? We
Well,
want.
Heidi is still explaining, and then we'll just go to the next order. So
Okay.
let's do that, please.
Pardon?
Fine.
Do
Yeah.
you still have? Would you still have some more to explain about how to get people registered voter? I want to stay on task because the people watching it, I want them to be able to rewind if they
Right.
want to be like, oh, how can I go vote? Oh, how can I find this? So I want to make sure we stay focused on task. Okay.
Right.
Yes.
So how can we get people registered?
Well, you have to first go through a course to be a voter deputy registrar. So you can do that through the county clerk's office. I think they've gone to online courses now, so you can do it online. So I think they just started going to online. They're not doing it in person anymore. So you would look up the tax assessor collector so you can be certified to register voters. So that's the first step. Then there are groups like the League of Women Voters. Bay Area is the northern part of Galveston County. The League of Women Voters Galveston is the lower part of Galveston County. You can join whichever one you want. And they usually set up the voter registrations around the county only because they're a nonpartisan, non-threatening type of face. Like we used to try, TDW would try to do a farmer's market. No, nothing political here, nothing political. But if it's the League of Women Voters, they will accept that. So we mostly get in the door through that organization.
Okay. Thank you, Heidi.
Mhm.
Okay, so Tracie, how could people become a VDR?
So there's a ways to become a VDR. So the VDR, Harris County, you can do that online, and it's easy. You can just simply type in how to become a VDR. And so when you put that in, and then you put online. And so it is so easy. It'll send you to the link. You can click on it. And then when you click on it, it gives you all type of times that you're able to do it. And what's unique about it is they'll have a person where you can register. And if you need to register, you can. And so when you register for it, it's in 1 hour class. Okay. And so what that VDR does, it allows you to know how to register people, to be able to go to large events and be able to register people, and to register a person that's standing next to you and receive their paperwork. Also, for Galveston County to be a VDR, you can go to the Galveston County Court, and it's the third Friday at 10 a.m. every single month, and it's 1 hour. What I love about being a VDR is the training is 1 hour. It is free. You can also take one county and transfer it to another county. So if you're taking the training to one, when you go out and fill out the information at the other, you can check the box and they'll send you the information and they'll confirm you. Well, you'll be able to be registered for both counties. So that's something that's very important. It'll allow you to do events. It's free. You'll get the information. If you do it in person, you'll leave with a card and information. If you do it online, they'll send you a packet, voter registration card, and your card to you at home in the mail. You don't have to do nothing. 1 hour of training. It is easy. She can answer questions after you get done, and then you be a BDR, and you will be able to make a difference in both counties.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Um, so I guess my next question is, Dr. Coretta, what age is it legal? What age do you have to be to vote?
So most people are familiar with the age of 18, being the age of voting, right? But a little caveat to that is that you can be 17 years old and within 3 months of your 18th birthday to be registered to vote. So
wow.
So make sure that as you are encountering people, in your networks, in your church community, in your neighborhood, within your family, your friends, your, sororities, what other organizations that you're in, that you just, hey, is everyone in your home registered to vote? So, and ask how old are they, or when will they turn 18? And that will kind of keep it front of mind, but it's also a good way to keep people engaged in the process, because if they're not 18, but they're going to be turning 18 soon, that's going to keep them coming back asking you, is my child, ready to be registered to vote now?
Okay. Okay. That's some good info. I didn't know that. Thanks, Dr. Coretta. Great info. Pastor Angela.
Yes,
name some apps that people can use at home.
I'm not familiar with the exact names of them. Tracie knows more about that, the exact names of the apps.
Okay.
But we have posted to where we have a lot of friends who are homebound,
Okay.
and so we've let them know that they can do letters, they can make phone calls. The ones who can't actually get out and go knock on doors,
okay,
that they can do phone calls, they can do letters. So like I said, there is something for everybody to do, and we did post some, but the exact apps I'm not can't tell you off the top of my head, but Tracie knows the exact apps because we posted them.
We would try to drop them in a comment, guys, okay, when we figure out what they all are. Or do somebody know?
Real quickly, Rachel, there's one that's really popular, and it's called When We All Vote. Former First Lady Michelle Obama is affiliated with that group, and it's called When We All Vote.
Okay.
Also, vote.gov. I like to throw that out all the time. www.vote.gov, vote.gov. And I say that all the time to be as simple where people can remember it. So vote.gov. Go in there, and then you'll be able to see all the information. You'll be able to check your voter registration status. You'll be able to change your address. You'll be able to do a lot. So I just want to throw that out there for everybody to be transparent. Vote.gov. So www.vote.gov, vote.gov. Remember that, and that will be able to help you out and get you in
the. Okay. Thanks for that, ladies. Thank y'all. Heidi, are we going to be able to do mail-in ballots this year?
I think we will. I think what Trump is proposing right now is usurping state authorities. Elections are run by the states, not by the federal government. So I'm sure if he tries to do that, there'll be a lot of lawsuits. Or the state of Oregon votes exclusively by mail. He can't just. You know what I mean? I guess he could, but I don't. I don't see it in my crystal ball at this point. But I did want to add a app that you can use. So another thing you can do is call our representatives. Now we live in a red district, and we got gerrymandered out of our one Democrat seat in the whole county. But we can still call our reps, and we still need to call the reps that are doing good things and let them know we got our back. I was up there Wednesday for the whole day when they were putting this redistricting through, and some of those reps, they were tired. They were tired of fighting, and they were tired of it's just they need to hear the good atta girls and atta boys too. So it's really important that we call them as well.
That's true. Thank you. Tracie,
sorry. I'm sorry. It's 5 calls. I didn't even get there. So the app is called 5 Calls, and it will give you who you can call every day on different subjects. So you can take action every day and call it will tell you which reps to call. It will tell you. So it's called 5 Calls, and It looks like little stars on the App Store.
Okay.
And if I could also mention Mobilize. Mobilize, people can go there and they can find all kinds of events to get involved in the political process. There are events, some you can do, via live stream or Zoom, all over the country, or you can do some things here as well.
Okay. Great info, ladies. Thank y'all. I dropped a lot of that in the comments, so when people come back later, they can have it. Great info, ladies. Tracie, Miss Steans, can felonies vote?
So ex-felons off of paper, yes, they can vote. If you're off of paper, if they are off of paper, they can vote. And also, if you're in jail and you're a registered voter and you're not convicted, you can vote.
Okay.
If you're in jail and you're waiting on a court date and you're registered to vote, they're supposed to be able to escort you out and you go vote. So, yeah. So if you're not convicted, or if you were convicted, if you already served your time, you can vote as long as you're registered.
Okay. Dr. Coretta, can college students vote?
Absolutely, college students can vote. Most people who are.
But how does that work in like different states? I should have kind of clarified because a lot of people worry about that too. Sorry about that.
Great point. So one of the things college kids have to be careful with is where they're registered, right? Okay. Their residence. And so looking at whatever their current ID is, that's going to determine their residency status, right? So if they are attending college or university out of state or out of their particular region, depending on the election, I would say the best thing to do would be to consult with their local voter registrar office there, because if you recall, some years back, some students at Prairie View had this very issue, right? There was a time where even if you were attending college here, you were able to vote here, even though, let's say, your state ID may say something else. If you were from Louisiana, your state ID said Louisiana, but because you had established residency as a college student here, they were able to vote here, right? That has had some back and forth, and I'm not real sure where that landed. I think it ended up where they could not. Heidi, correct me with that, because I think they were trying to kind of shut down a lot of that youth vote, and I think they would have to have a Texas ID. Right?
Mail-in ballot.
Yes, they have to. Yeah, they have to have a Texas ID. But if they have a Texas ID, it doesn't matter what their address says on the ID itself. But yeah, they do have to vote in the county in which they're registered.
Right. Okay.
Thank y'all for that. Pastor Angela.
Yes, ma'am.
Can elderly people vote? And if so, like, how does that work?
Elderly people, elderly people can vote. I think the biggest problem with elderly voting is transportation. The ones who they can't drive anymore. And so us having ways to get them to the poll, so that they can vote, because I know in some places they, for whatever reason, with the mail-in votes, they're trying to not let them do that. Or a lot of elderly people don't trust mail-in votes that I've spoken to, because they feel like if they mail in, they're not sure that it's actually getting to where they want to go. So they would rather go themselves, but their concern is how they're going to get there. But yes, elderly people can vote.
Okay.
And they can use MetroLift, Rachel. They can use MetroLift to get them to polling places. Okay. They can also do curbside voting, where a poll worker will bring out a little tablet to their vehicle and allow them to press whatever they need to press or ask for assistance, so that they can vote. So there are ways, even if, you may be disabled or, elderly, and maybe you don't drive, but there are ways for you to get around to a polling location and be able to vote if you, are not one who happens to trust in the mail ballot system.
Right. Yeah, because I could see what Pastor Edgar said. I could see the elderly feeling that way. So yeah, that
Yeah,
was some
they don't trust the
great
man. Yeah.
insight.
And
Yeah.
that's one thing too. If you're disabled, like my dad, one of his eyes, he had a problem with vision. So I was able to go with him, and when he went in to give his information, I was able to sign
Oh,
and be able to
okay.
read for him where he can select everything and tell me what to select while I was there. And so, long as you have that trusted person, leave us a spouse or daughter or somewhere in the kin line, you can go in with them, a family member, and vote for them while they're on the side. Tell you, and they allow both of you there.
Great info, ladies. Thank
Yeah.
you. Heidi, how does protesting help?
Okay, well, first of all, let me just circle back to the mail-in voting for seniors. So if you're over 65, you have to apply every year to get your
Mm,
ballot by mail. And if there are multiple, and you can start applying in January, you fill out an application to vote by mail and you send it into the county clerk and then you get the mail-in ballots, excuse me. So if you there's a block, it says if you want the annual ballot, you
mhm.
click that, that gives you every ballot for the year. If you're going to be voting in a primary, it will ask you to check which one you want, Democrat or Republican, on that as well. So you do have to apply every year. We used to be able to send them out to all our Democrats over 65 from the state party, but they can't do that anymore. It's against the law. So
Okay. All right.
yes.
Thank you. Great
Mhm.
info.
Can I piggyback on that mail-in ballot? But candidates can mail ballots to voters.
Yes.
Oh,
Political parties can't, but candidates can actually mail ballots to voters who are going to be in whatever area that they're running for office in.
Yeah.
hmm.
Applications for the
Applications. That's
ballots.
right.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
right.
Absolutely. Yep. That's they can still do
Okay.
that.
And they
Great
just
info.
need to make sure that they fill it out correctly, because
Hmm.
sometimes they need to use the same signature that's on their driver's license or their state ID or their
Right.
passport, whatever identification they're using. They need to sign their name the same way, because if they don't, they run the risk of having their ballot thrown out. So when they apply for their ballot, make sure they do that. Make sure they put a social security number, a phone number,
Yes.
whatever. Do not skip any piece of information on that form. When you close it, make sure you seal it correctly.
Hmm.
Okay? Because if not, they will throw that ballot out.
Wow.
So
Okay.
just following up on that too, they check on that ballot. It asks for your ID. It has a place for your social security number and a place for your ID number. Please fill those both in because they match that up with how you first registered to vote or what your current voter registration uses. Now, if you're over 65 and you've been registered for 30 years here and you've lived in the same house, you don't remember what you gave them, a license or a social. And if it
Right.
doesn't match, they're going to throw your ballot out. So make sure you put both your IDs on there to
Wow.
lessen the odds of being rejected.
Wow. Great info, ladies.
Beautiful.
Great info. Great tag team. Y'all did a good job. Okay. That was some good stuff.
and and
Okay.
and
So
protesting
Heidi.
is important. Protesting is important um to show awareness to everybody else that isn't there, and to show the people that they have to answer to you face to face. You're going to be there. So
Love it. Love it. Tracy Steans, how can we contact our reps?
And so the easiest way, Heidi hit on it earlier, because I know it's so confusing where people want to do it. That 5 call app is amazing. And if you look in the comments, there are things that we're already dropping in there, letting everybody know the information that we're talking about now. And we're giving out some nuggets that's in the comments below. That 5 call app is easy. What I love about it is you can download it, Android, iPhone. Something go on, you can get on that app. It'll tell you what's getting ready, what's the hot topics right now that's going on. You can put your information in. It'll let you know who are your state reps, who's representing you. You can email, you can call them, and they also have a script. There's a script on there where they'll be able to talk for you. If you don't know exactly what to say, it'll just plug. You can just plug it in that way. And so that 5 call app is something that we're all using right now, especially something that's going on, and be able, you can request a call back. You can contact your rep that you want to set up a meeting. You can do everything on that app. See what's going on. And what I love to is to be able to do the online petitions. I petition every something going on. I start typing right there and now. You can do it in the middle of the night. You can do all of it. It's a way. And then you can also thank your reps, the ones who's out here fighting on the line for you, to be able to do that. And so that's one of those unique ways to be able to advocate from home. The 5Call app. It is a blue app. Um, I have it. If you have a iPhone, you can download it in the App Store, and it has these stars on it. It's a blue background with 5 stars on it. You can contact your rep. You can email them. It is an easy app. So I like to repeat things 3 times so everybody remembers the 5Call app, the 5Call app, the 5Call app. Use that app, then you can call all your state reps, email them, and you can advocate from home. You can do your part.
Love it. Love it. Dr. Coretta. So who is running for Attorney General?
So currently, I believe we have a couple of candidates. We have Ken Paxton, of course, who is the incumbent, but then we also have a Chip Roy, who is positioning himself to, be competitive in this race. And so this looks like it's going to be quite an interesting race. I'll put it like that. They are. I'll just say this. I'm watching to see how this race shapes up.
Okay.
It'll be interesting to see Republicans kind of go at it.
Yeah.
Since a lot of what they've been talking about here lately is, Dems in a negative light. So it'll be interesting to see how that race shapes up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, I wanted to also mention real quickly, there's another app that I discovered during Kamala Harris's campaign. It's called Reach. And this app, when we were talking about, I'm kind of circling back just a little bit, Tracie, where it talked about how to keep people active and involved and engaged. This app allows people to get active directly with campaigns. It connects them directly to campaigns. And the campaigns will constantly, engage with them. And so that's a way to keep, new voters or people who may have, a little bit of apathy setting in. That's a way to keep them involved. And they get to choose how much or how little, they want to be involved, depending on what their schedule is. Let's say they only want to do social media posts. Then they can sign up to do social media posts. And guess what? They don't have to create the post. The campaign creates the post. All they do is post it on their social media networks and then, share it out that way. So that's another great app.
Love it.
Powered by People as well. I like Powered by People because you can get active at your level. If you don't feel comfortable out there block walking, it'll ask you, what do you want to do? And so
is that an app, Tracie?
That's better. No, you can just get online and get that. So that's Powered by People, and that's better.
Okay. I added that in the comment as well.
Yeah.
Pastor Angela, what happens when people don't vote?
When you don't vote, you forfeit your right, and when you don't vote, you forfeit your right to make the change that you say that you want. When you don't vote, you are basically putting it in the hands of the people to do what they want to do, because, like I said, your vote is your voice, and so you have to. And I just think it's just important we give people understand, because, like I said, people they've given up, and people just hope. We got to keep reminding that there is hope. We got to let them know how important their voice is, because when you don't vote, you forfeit your right. And you forfeit your voice.
Thank you so much.
And you're also telling those elected officials that the resources that you say you need in your community really aren't as important as you want people to think. So when you vote, you're saying, hey, I'm voting, and I'm voting specifically for you, whether you're, whatever, party, but I'm voting specifically for you because what you are promoting is directly aligned to what my community needs, to the resources that we need in our communities. And so when you don't vote, you're saying, hey, my community is fine. We don't need anything. We're good over here.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Okay.
ask, when you don't vote, you end up with what we're going through right now,
Exactly.
about to repeat history.
That's it.
Right. Heidi, what do you think keeps people from voting?
That voter apathy comes from different reasons. It's not going to make a difference. My vote doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to get involved.
Mm-hmm.
Politics is so negative. I don't want to be involved in it. Let me tell you, all that negativity that Trump does and that the MAGA GOP, that's a form of voter suppression. Being that negative is a form of voter suppression. So, there are, legitimate reasons why we have in Texas one of the strictest voter ID laws in the country. Um, you can't use your college ID, but you can use your gun ID, your concealed carry ID. It's crazy, but now they're making women, if your birth certificate, this is a suggestion or it's a bill, but if your birth certificate name doesn't match the name on your ID, you have to give them all the paperwork. It's going to hurt women trying to register to vote.
Mm-hmm.
So say you've been married 3 times, certificate divorce, marriage certificate divorce, you bring it all. And so it's really going to impact women, and that's something that Republicans want to do. They want to impact women voting. They don't want us to
Mm-hmm.
vote either.
And they
So
want to wear us down, Heidi.
yes.
That
Right.
they really want to wear us down. That's why I
Mhm.
said earlier, we should not be weary in well doing, but
That's
make
right.
sure that we do, rest when we need it, as Tracie said. But
Yes.
we cannot just, allow these things to go unchallenged.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No, we have to make our voices heard. We have to tell everybody, and we have to stand up and tell everybody, this is where I stand. Are you with me? I'm willing to put my neck out.
Right.
And so, it's really important to, even if you can't do it in person, if you could do it with social media, with hashtags. But yeah, people are really getting turned off by voting. And you have to remember too, the new voters this last time in 2024, the 18-year-olds, all they've known of politics is Trump. That to them is normal. They've never seen politics be normal.
And
They've
we
only
have to we have to let the younger voters know, and even some older
Mhm.
voters know, that you aren't looking to elect Jesus Christ.
Mhm.
Okay,
Come on. Come on.
you are looking to elect someone to represent you, to be a voice for you, whose values are aligned with your
With
values.
yours.
This
That's
is
right.
not a purity contest, right?
That's
We're
right.
Mhm.
not looking for a candidate who has no fault at all, right?
You
And
don't
we,
have
and we have to be more sophisticated voters and not be just a single issue voter,
That's
right?
right.
Well,
Mhm.
they don't do this and they don't do that, so I'm just not none of. So if you lose this one particular issue, but then there are 10 other issues that this person is going to vote on that affect you and your community,
Mhm.
Correct.
do you just say, I'm just not going to vote at all? That is
Mm-hmm.
not that's not a very, sophisticated way, or showing that what you're doing is really being strategic. You
Right.
have to really, be strategic with your vote. If
Mhm.
voting did not have any value, they wouldn't be trying so hard to take it away from
Right.
you.
That's
And
right.
one of the easiest ways
Very
to take it
bingo.
away from you is to get into these culture wars, is to get
Mhm.
into, situations that are not directly here on our soil, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They kept
we have
saying
to
that.
be careful about that, because, as Heidi said, that is a form of voter suppression.
It's just,
Single issue voting, these
Mhm.
purity contests, those
Right.
are all ways to suppress people's natural inclination to vote.
mm-hmm.
Thank you, Athena. What you're saying is so correct. It's a comment that's on Facebook. Like you said, honestly, not voting actually is making it worse. And I hope that people do realize that them not voting does make it worse.
Mm-hmm.
So thank y'all. That was good. Tracie, is there any protest that's coming up?
So September 1st, there's a protest that's coming up I'll put it in the comments because there are several different protests that's coming up. And so I want people to be able to log online. There's a Facebook that I've created that's Advocate from Home that pretty much takes the information from different groups that they're post and I place it under one umbrella so people will be able to see what's going on and pass it on with the community. That one's going to be on September 1st and it's going to be in Houston. And so normally we start them between 9 and 12. And so on that one right there, they have not put a location on that one. So that's why I don't want to say exactly where it's at. But we'll also be doing a voter registration on that day too as well. So that protest is going to be in Houston. Most people are off on September 1st, and that is a weekday. But we'll be doing a protest, and not just here. It's a nationwide protest in every city.
Okay. I think Dr. Coretta, is there any upcoming events that you would like to bring up?
Well, currently I am working along with some other people on some things. We haven't quite finalized them yet, but we are looking to hold some additional community forums on gerrymandering to inform people and to keep people engaged in this discussion and to keep this, in the forefront of their minds.
Okay, cool. All right. So if y'all want to go back later and drop anything in the comments, y'all can, so people can go back and have it.
Well, I'm going to tap in on some events. We do have a voter registration that's going to go on. That's going to be a Sake Loop Church. Those who are in that area, that's going to be with the NAACP, if you're interested in that. And then we'll be doing one here locally in Galveston County that evening on the 1st, the same day that we're doing a protest. So you can reach out to us for that. And then we have a Democrat meeting. It's Texas Democratic Women, Galveston County, on the 3rd Wednesday of the month at 6 p.m. in Lake City at South Shore Grill. If you're interested in being part of change or information of everything that we've touched on today, a lot of us that's here, that's on the panel, we will be in person that day. Will you be able to talk to us, eat dinner with us, listen to one of our guest speakers, and also join an organization that day. So that's coming up with the upcoming events.
Okay. Pastor Angela, would you like to tell us powerful organizations that they can join if they want to be part of the movement?
Well, like I said, I'm a part of TDW. I'm a part of NAACP. And those are both powerful groups to be in. NAACP is really moving. Which I will say this: whichever group that you get in, don't just get in a group just to say you're in a group. Get in, willing to work, willing to make a change, because we need as many people as we can get, but we need willing workers.
Can I also piggyback and say that, a lot of churches have social justice ministries. And if your church doesn't have one, you might want to consider starting one. So that's a way, for people to get involved as well. And then to also consider joining other organizations, maybe like Johnny Mata's group, the Justice Coalition, LULAC, of course, NAACP, the Houston branch, the Houston Area Urban League. So there are a lot of local social justice organizations and civil rights organizations. Also consider your HOA or your civic club. I know, like Area 5 Democrats, they're always doing like postcard parties and things of that nature, where they have people fill out postcards to elected officials and candidates, things like that. So they're constantly engaging, with electeds and those seeking office. But consider, doing something that's close to home, because the closer to home it hits you, the more likely you are to stay involved with that process. So start simple. Start with your civic club or your HOA or, your MUD or your city council or commissioner's court. Start locally, and then find ways to branch out. And just to piggyback, Heidi, because Debbie Kerner wouldn't let me get away without saying this, we're always looking for precinct chairs. If you cannot be a precinct chair because you don't live in that precinct, you can always be a precinct captain. And Houston Federation of Teachers, we are an organization that is also fighting for, of course, you all know we've been fighting the takeover. We've been fighting for teacher and student rights in Houston ISD. So we are always looking for volunteers as well. We need people to phone bank. We need people to do postcards. We need people to get on Mobilize because we have events on Mobilize. We have a Labor Day barbecue coming up. There's a lot going on, and most of our events tend to be on the Mobilize site, or if you have the app, you can use that. But again, those are ways that you can be involved and do so locally and really have a great impact.
Thank you, Jackie Anderson. You took too long to say it, so she was like, you know what, let me add this on here since you want to take a minute.
Yeah.
Since you want to take a minute to add it.
Thank you, Jackie.
For sure. One more thing I will add with that. So if you're nonpartisan, we have the Legal Women Voters. They're awesome. They're nonpartisan, and it's a bunch of organizations together. Just get
Road Women too, Tracie. We got Road Women.
We have them. I mean, and then on the Democrat wide too, we have Bay Area Democrats, TW, Galveston County Democrats. So
Harris County Democratic Party. Go on their website. They have a calendar with events that are happening all over the city and the surrounding areas, right?
Yeah.
So wherever you are, check your local party's website. They usually have a calendar of events, and even on your city's website. The City of Houston also has various events, but they also have boards and commissions. Get involved, get on a board, sign up to be on a particular commission, make your voice heard in whichever way possible for you.
Question. Whoever want to answer it, you can answer it. Is there any protesters that's currently jailed under this administration?
Our protesters.
I know in Washington, D.C., I had saw, but I'm going to let y'all answer it.
So,
let me just speak from a firsthand perspective, because I've been at a lot of protests in Austin, and I was just there last Saturday? I feel like I'm there so often. The days are kind of running together. Okay. But this is the thing. When you go to a protest, make sure you follow the guidelines. So if you need to educate yourself about what's allowed, like as we were leaving, we saw a young lady who was not being allowed into that particular protest because of something that was on her sign. I think, there are certain parameters around protests. Just make sure that you follow those guidelines and you should be fine. As long as you're not breaking any laws or causing any kind of mayhem, generally you're not jailed. Right. And we usually protest on the steps of the Texas Capitol.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And when so MAGA makes protesting look like it's something that people are looting and it's out of control and all. Right. We're going to so many protests. When you look at the protest signs, a lot of people are creative with the signage that they use for protesting. And those creative ways, people know that when we protest, it is organized when we come out there. Right. That we have the police already out there. They are already making the way from us. They are keeping an eye to make sure that trouble doesn't come towards our way. And they're making sure that we're safe, but we're also expressing our freedom.
Right. And keep in mind, you have what I call professional disruptors, people who will go out to intentionally make a protest look worse or look bad, because they're trying to distract from the issue at hand. Right. And so we have to be careful and not align ourselves or associate ourselves with things of that nature as well. Right. And if we see something like that at a protest, we need to alert, law enforcement who's there. Because remember, they're also there to protect us. They have an obligation to make sure that we have the ability to exercise our First Amendment right to protest peacefully, right? And as long as we're following those guidelines, they're obligated to keep us safe as well.
Yeah. Now you can follow our protest because and if you want to be a part of a protest, it's 5051 Movement. That's on Facebook. You click like on 5051 Movement, and it shows you all the protests that's happening. You're seeing it live. You see pictures. You see creative signs. You know the next one that's getting ready to happen. You can post yours. We usually keep up and post what we're doing down here, so you won't feel so alone in this struggle. You know that it's happening on those days to go in and post it, and then you look to see other things. And then you got to realize too, protesting can be a simple person that has a chair and a sign and they're standing up there. That is a protest.
And bring your water. Stay hydrated.
Bring your water. I always bring a backpack because when I bring a backpack, I don't have to, my hands are free. You know, water, a towel. I usually bring an extra sign because somebody always leave one. And become prepared, you know. And once you do it, it is so refreshing to know that you were out there, you were part of change. Yeah. And
Can I? Oh, sorry. I'm just going to tell you about September 1st. There's a protest in Houston.
Yeah.
Labor Day protest. It's going to be called May Day Strong. It's being led by the unions. And it's protesting the big, beautiful bill. Texas is set to lose $39 billion in Medicaid funding from the federal government. So that's part of that. It's going to be in the Galleria area on September 1st.
And we all know someone who's on Medicaid or Medicare. Amen. We all know that. And you know, just kind of looking at those of us, you know, here on the podcast tonight, you know, some of us aren't far from that age either, right? So we want to make sure that we support that and make sure that it's there for us when we need it because we've paid into it. That's another thing, the messaging around Medicaid. We have to let people know this is not something that the federal government is giving us. This is an earned benefit. We've paid into this system, right? So we're getting back what we've paid into. Don't let people make you feel as though, oh, you don't deserve that. Well, I paid for it, so why can't I have it?
That's right.
Exactly.
That's
it's owed to you.
Guys, thank you, Jackie, so much for contributing to tonight. Thank you, Athena, for being on. I definitely appreciate you, Cheryl and Crystal, for joining us tonight. I thank you, ladies, for your time. The amazing Tracie, Heidi, Pastor Angela, and the amazing Dr. Coretta. This has been an amazing topic. I thank y'all, ladies, for taking y'all Sunday out to educate the people. If you found this podcast helpful, please go and share. They dropped a lot of knowledge. Go back and get your pen and paper and join an organization and make a difference because we're all put here to make a difference. Thank you, guys, and we will see y'all next week. Thank you, guys.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.